Hello beautifuls, this is Aromie here with the new game called Changeling. Changeling, I'm assuming. I am feeling better. I feel my voice is okay. I'm just having a slight cough here and there, so I'm probably gonna mute every now and then to cough out the yuckiness. But I'm feeling super good. Better English? I don't know English anymore. But I don't know if they're a creator or not, but Ash has messaged me on YouTube to play this game for them, and this game intrigued me. I looked at their Kickstarter and then their link that they gave me to download the game for the demo. I'll leave the link as well for you guys so you guys can play it for yourself. But I was watching the little teaser and oh my god, I fell in love with every single freaking guy that is an option for us to pursue once the game is fully released. I'm not quite sure when it is, and I'm pretty sure they said it's probably going to be estimated around $20 for the game. But this art style is different. The storyline is totally different as well. It's more about like fairies and wizards and werewolves and all that, like the fantastical mystery creatures out there that we all wish would come true or not come true. You know, some people are not into that, but we're gonna start off with the game because I am quite excited. Once I was like looking it up and everything, I was like, oh, I really want to record it, but I don't want to like die from my sickness. But I am feeling a bit better. So my first name is Michiko, and a lot of you guys did not know that was my name. Michiko is my name. This is on YouTube. I go by Aromie, so don't be too like, who is that? Why do you keep constantly naming yourself that? It's because it's my name. I always used Michiko. I never used Aromie for visual novels, and I will continue that tradition. Last name, let's see. I love pink, so Michiko Pink. There we go. And now the story begins. Michiko Pink. My voice might sound funny. I'm sorry. When I was little, I dreamed of being carried away to a far-off land. I feel like my voice is dying. Ugh. Really don't want it to die. I was so excited to record this. It was a recurring dream of flying through the air, surrounded by softly singing voices. Yeah, my voice is dying. Okay, I had just try to cough out the yuckiness. Back then, I read book after book of old fairy tales in my grandmother's study, the kind where good children didn't always make it out of the dark swamp unscathed, and sometimes the goblins won. During the day, I would run through the forest by our house and pretend the stories were real. Every tree was a sentinel? I've never seen that word. Watching over me in the rustling leaves were the sweet whisperers of fairies, coaxing me further and further from the house. Then it all crumbled. The trees and games had to be left behind. Books were left to gather dust on shelves, and dreams were left to fade into memory. Years passed, and all that remained were the distant games and pretend play of childhood. Back then, I didn't know that real fairy tales were darker than anything I could possibly have dreamed up on my own. Return home. Chapter 1. We had nearly reached the new house. I was eager to get out of this cramped car and see the new place. The long road trip wasn't agreeing with me, but I couldn't complain too much. After 5 years in a city I hated, we were finally moving back to Pine Hollow, the place where I grew up. Anywhere with the word hollow, you better be creeped out instant. That alone was enough to help me keep my sanity during the tense, awkward trip back. Unfortunately, the reason behind the move wasn't entirely good. Grandpa had fallen ill and was under strict orders to take it easy and avoid stress. He needed Dad's help with his business. Dad wasn't too happy about leaving his current job and our house in the city behind, much less moving back across state lines to our previous home. I was, though. I missed Grandma and Grandpa. I missed the trees and the looming embrace of the mountains that made Pine Hollow feel enclosed and protected. I missed my best friend. What I wouldn't miss was the stifling humidity of the city, the constant smell of hot rubber and car exhaust. Not to mention the lack of stars at night and the way rain made everything smell like rust instead of warm earth. As the scenery beyond the car windows became more and more familiar, I found my tiredness fading to be replaced by excitement. This new house isn't that far from the old one, is it? They're only a few miles apart. This one's in a different neighborhood though. I really love the different art style. I'm so used to like cute anime style, but this is really beautiful. I love this. It's so realistic looking. Lots of trees and very wooded. You two will like it. Dad said that, but from the look on Spencer's face, I didn't think it was true. Not for Spencer anyway. Dad pointed to a small forested mountain a few miles ahead. The neighborhood is nestled right at the foot there and winds up the slope. It feels rural, but it's within walking distance of the town square. I was glad that it didn't look like much development had happened in the years we've been gone, and in fact it didn't look like much had changed at all. So much forest! Looks easy to get lost in. I gave him a sharp look and found him staring at me in that disquisiting way he'd pick up over the last few years. He was already trying to start a fight about that. I quickly looked away. Twins were supposed to be close. At least everyone seemed to think so. Spencer and I were not. We used to be, but not after what happened before we moved. And that remark, which seemed so innocent, was clearly a well-aimed jab at me. Let it go already. No one's going to get lost, and I want you both to give me your word you'll be careful in the forest. I don't want to have to ban you from hiking. So basically, don't be Hansel and Gretel, alright? Ugh, and now Mom was starting too. I sighed and slumped back in the seat, watching the trees slide past as a kaleidoscope of all colors. I knew I had had a tendency to get lost in the woods a lot as a child. It hadn't been a problem in the city since I wasn't inclined to go exploring there, but now that we were moving back to a town that actually had space to roam, I guess everyone was getting worried. It wasn't that I didn't get it. There were a couple of times I wandered into the woods and couldn't find my way back, and was missing for more than a week. Oh my god! The last incident had been just before we moved away, but the family was still shadowed by the repercussions of what had happened back then. The realtor said there are trails, but you know, that probably means animal trails and not actual hiking trails. It can be dangerous. We're not little kids anymore. There are a lot of coyotes here, and cougars, even bears. There's also a pretty deep ravine in the woods behind the house, from what I understand. Oh, thanks, Dad. Please tell us all of this beautiful stuff that we're gonna go look. Yep. We just want to make sure everyone stays safe. Now that we're back, we don't want... Jeez, it's been 5 years. 5 years. 5 years since we moved away. 5 years since Spencer and I had a normal relationship. I couldn't entirely blame everyone's trepidation. It was easy for me to want them to move on, since everything had been my fault. I was to blame for the drama the family had been forced to endure, and for what happened to Spencer. What happened? The wounds created back then hadn't exactly healed overnight. They hadn't even healed in 5 years. Not the emotional ones, and not the physical ones. Definitely not the one inflicted on our relationship. And it didn't matter how many times I'd apologize. Dad turned onto a quiet street that wound its way into the trees. A few rooftops poked through the foliage. It was a great neighborhood. I loved it from the moment we turned onto the street and passed over a trickling creek that vanished into the woods. At the foot of the mountain, within walking distance of the houses, was the main street of the town, filled with little shops and restaurants. But the neighborhood hidden behind a thick wall of trees or curled around the mountainside felt secluded and quiet. It was beautiful and perfect. Michiko, go check the boxes up in your room. Make sure they put the right ones there. I'll let you unpack your things first, then I want you downstairs to help in the kitchen. Spencer, same for you. Movers had already arranged most of the furniture in the house under Grandma's supervision, but the boxes with the smaller items and personal belongings still needed unpacking. Since she had to take care of Grandpa, Grandma couldn't do much more than tell them where to put furniture and try to get the basics set up for us. We still had a ton of work to do. Mom immediately busied herself trying to hang curtains to make the house look lived in. Dad started ripping into the boxes in the family room. Spencer vanished upstairs. I left Mom in the kitchen and went to look at the rest of the downstairs. This house is really great. I'm glad you like it, honey. It wasn't new, but it had completely renovated inside. It looked modern and new, but it still felt old and full of memories and someone else's history. I love it already. My bedroom was right next to Spencer's. Oh, crap. I read, no, go back. Okay, the only thing separating them was a small shared bathroom. That was going to be so much fun. He intended to act like any intrusion into his personal space was a huge affront, so I had to walk on eggshells if I didn't want to fight with him. I could only begin to imagine his whining about having to share counter space with all my icky girl things, like a hairbrush and hand lotion. The horror! That aside, my room was pretty nice. It was bright and airy, and I loved seeing my things already put exactly where I'd have put them away. It looked like Grandma even got my bed ready. All I had to do was unpack the rest of my personal stuff. I started with my school things, pulling tape off one box to get at what was inside. Suddenly, the door to my side of the bathroom burst open. Spencer stalked in, dropping a dusty box on my clean bedspread. He could have at least knocked. They gave me one of yours. Don't pick a fight, just stay calm. I moved the box to the floor without saying anything. Spencer started to leave immediately. Hang on, let me make sure I don't have any of yours. Hopefully he didn't make a habit bursting in. Being my twin brother didn't mean he got to invade my privacy whenever he wanted, especially since he'd have an aneurysm? Words I've never read before. If I had slammed into his room that way. I quickly sorted through the boxes to see if any of his were lurking in my room. Sure enough, I found one with this thing clearly scrawled on the top. Here, I think this one has some of your clothes. I nudged the box toward him with my foot. He scowled at me before picking it up and stalking back to his room. The door on his side of the bathroom slammed shut. Yeah, you're welcome. These days, even the smallest interaction with him was like that. Like Dad, he hadn't wanted to come back to this town at all, even if the return wasn't exactly my fault. I was pretty sure he was just annoyed by the fact I was so happy about it. I don't think he'd ever love it the same way I had, and heaven forbid I take pleasure in something. I rolled my eyes and continued pulling things out of the boxes. The tedium of unpacking couldn't compare with just being glad to be back. Even if I accepted responsibility for the past, I didn't personally think it meant I also had to sentence myself to a life of guilt and misery. Especially not for something that happened when I was 12, something I couldn't even remember. So she's like 17 now? I left my boxes on the floor and went to peer out the window. We're home. I really love this game so far. I cannot wait for it to come out already, guys. I cannot wait. This place was so special to me. At a glance, this town looked like dozens of others you could find scattered through the area. It was beautiful and sunny, and sometimes really eerie. There were days when the clouds hung low over the mountains. The fog was super thick through the trees, and you could almost imagine that it was haunted. The truth was that I felt I'd lost something in this place 5 years ago. Maybe I was only happy to be here because I felt that now I had a chance to get it back. Pine Hollow had a lot of urban legends, more than you'd expect for a town this size. There were dozens of stories about creepy things happening in the woods. I mean, anytime I hear the word hollow, I would instantly think of something scary. I don't know. It could be scary or it could be cool. It's an in-between kind of thing. I think that's why some people were so quick to heap on the oddities of my disappearances as something as supernatural. Even during the first incident, some pretty ridiculous rumors started up. The rational public wrote it off as a strange but explainable. Just because a 9-year-old turned up unscathed after 10 days lost in the woods didn't mean anything out of the ordinary was involved. It's true that given the era, it was strange I got back safely at all. But the only truly unusual part was that I had no memory of what happened, and even that could be explained. At the time, people assumed it was some sort of psychogenic amnesia. But then the same thing happened to me when I was 12. I've been missing for nearly 2 full weeks. There were search parties out every day looking for any sign of me. Newspapers speculated whether I was a runaway or if it was a ploy for attention. After all, it had happened before. Spencer was out with a search party one evening and got separated from them. They heard a scream and feared the worst, but he ran out of the woods a short time later in hysterics, clutching at one of his eyes. Then I walked out in a daze but unharmed. Despite his cries and his insistence, he was in pain. They never found anything wrong with his eye. He lost the vision in it, but no one knew the reason. As for me, I had no idea what happened. Even now, I had no real memories of those events. Damn, so is he blind in one eye? So is that why he hates his sister so much? There was a lot of public interest in the incident due to the fact that it was the second one involving our family, and me specifically. People love mysteries, and I had given them one. If I wasn't making it up, and I wasn't, then what sort of trauma could give me amnesia twice? There was a lot of bizarre theories, like the one about me witnessing a murder or being lured out by a serial killer who was angry and missed the chance to kill me the first time around. But the worst ones were the stories that Spencer had lured me into the woods to try to kill me, or the other way around. Or that we had both done the whole thing for attention and his injury was fake. It had been a mess. Bad enough that we left town to get away from the media, the rumors, and generally insanity. They're still camped in front of the house. Why can't they just put the cameras away and leave us in peace? I don't know what they expect us to tell them. Our kids are safe, that's all that matters. Even the police dismiss all claims of foul play. Are you sure about leaving? This is our home. We just need a fresh start. Michiko and Spencer both need to get away from this town. Away from all this. Spencer isn't going to be able to recover here. He hasn't been to school in weeks. He still can't look at Michiko. Well, it's not my fault he went blind in one eye, right? He's went blind in one eye. It's not my fault. Some ghost Casper told me to come out in the woods. Like Scooby-Doo. When they told him to come get free burgers, he went out in the freaking woods and got that. Oop-de-dooch. Kidding, guys. I just want my kids to be happy again. Right. Happiness. I still didn't know what had been so hard to believe about a kid just getting lost and being so scared. She made herself forget the terror of being stuck in the woods alone. It was the most logical answer. Yeah, that's kind of true. Just because something was weird, that didn't mean it couldn't have a reasonable explanation. Why am I even thinking about this again? I tried to shove the thoughts out of my head as I stood and stacked the empty boxes off to the side. I quickly filled the closet with my clothes and arranged my school things on my desk. In one corner I set up my painting things. The cabinet for my art supplies was already set up and I quickly stacked everything inside. The sunny room was going to be perfect for painting. It even faced north. I love that they remembered that when they picked this room for me. Michiko, are you finished yet? I'm nearly done. Give me a few minutes. Damn, Mom. I turned my attention to my small library of old books. I had all the classics, all used and worn and beautiful. And of course, there were lots of Shakespeare. It only took a few minutes to get the books on the shelves. I tried to organize them properly tomorrow. Once I was finished unpacking, I gave my room a satisfied once over before heading downstairs to help Mom unpack the kitchen. What should I do with the boxes in my room? Well, I'll have to figure out what the recycling pickup schedule is so we can crush them and set them out. For now, just leave them. Okay. How come our eyes are not blue like our mom's? What color eyes was our dad's? I was not looking. I just now realized it. Meanwhile, can you set these out on the back porch? She motioned to a few large, empty flower pots near the table. No problem. When you're back, I have a few things for you to take to the basement. Yay. Come on, hurry it up. Yeah. Okay, aye, Captain. Let's go. Not like I was busy doing something. I hefted a stack of pots and managed to wobble my way back to the back door with them. Navigating the door handle was a bit interesting, but I managed to get outside without breaking anything. I set them down near one of the brick columns and looked across the overgrown backyard. Something interesting caught my eye and I hopped off the porch to go investigate. At the back, in a little hollowed out area near the fence, was a large ring of white mushrooms with round caps. What the hell? A fairy ring! I've seen this once. I've seen it once in real life. I smiled as I crouched down and poked one of them. It had one at our last house too. Dad had tried everything to get rid of it, but it was very persistent. No matter what he treated it with, it always came back. He wouldn't be happy about it, but for some reason I liked having it there. I smiled slightly, remembering playing with Spencer in our previous backyard. We played tag, and whoever made it inside the circle first would be safe. Or would lay inside it and pretend we could see the fairies dancing on the mushroom tops or playing in the tree branches. I took a long, deep breath. So glad to be back. What are you doing out here? I sighed and stood carefully brushing off my jeans. Why does he always have to sound so angry? Mom has some work for you to do. You know, if you have time between daydreaming and communing with nature, is it possible for you to speak to me like I'm a human being? It would be if I was sure you were a human being. I hated the way he always said things like that, with a completely straight face. Haha, very amusing. I assure you that sisters are indeed human. Brothers, however, I'm not sure about. Normally, one would assume he hadn't meant it literally, but with him I could never tell. Just get back inside. As he turned away, he snapped a foot out, kicking over a few of the mushrooms. Stay calm, he's angry. An angry little boy. Why did he always try to ruin things just because I liked them? I wanted to get angry, but then we'd just fight, and I didn't want to fight with him anymore. It took all my self-control to swallow down the irritation. I stared at the broken fairy ring and bit my lower lip. You know, in stories, fairies tend to get pretty ticked off if you mess with their stuff. A strange look passed over his face, sort of confused and fearful at once. What the... Because it's a fairy ring? That's what a circular formation of mushroom is called? Whatever. He probably thought we were gonna, like, curse him. He stalked back inside, leaving me by the broken fairy ring. I looked down at the crumbled mushrooms lying in the broken bits on the grass. They'd grow back. It was stupid to care. I hated seeing something pretty messed up for a stupid reason. I hated that he had to ruin everything like some kind of creepy assassin of joy. I shoved my hands in my pockets and headed back inside. There was a quiet rustle of dried leaves behind me and I glanced back. There was nothing there. Probably a squirrel or something. Casting one last glance at the fairy ring, I stepped back into the kitchen, prepared for a list of chores to complete before dinner. I was just glad Dad was already talking about ordering pizza instead of trying to cook. That night I had a vivid dream, and it was in the sense I was looking for something and that I had to find my way home. There were tall trees draped in emerald moss and groping branches that reached the sun. There was a faint singing, childish voices whose words I couldn't make out. It was a dream that left a taste and smell of warm, wet earth in my mouth as I woke. The smell quickly faded and was replaced by that bacon and eggs that sunlight pricked my eyelids, beckoning me to wake up. I rolled over and snuggled deep into my blankets. Mom was already up. I could hear her downstairs talking to Dad as she cooked breakfast. A prickle of sunlight against my eyelids coaxed me out of sleep and warmed my face. Hey Chico, I know you want to sleep in, but we still have a lot of unpacking to do. I'm up. Not. Go back to sleep. Sort of. The last remnants of my dreams faded as I staggered out of bed into my closet to rummage for something to wear. It was a dream I'd had many times, though not for a while. That sense of having to get home, I assumed it was a dream from when I got lost in the woods. Not wood. From when I gotten spirited away, as my grandmother always called it. Being back must have been dredging up some of the old feelings from back then. I glanced toward my half-open curtains. It looks a bit chilly this morning. I should probably find something warm. This far north, it always felt like summer simply stopped abruptly, giving way to instant autumn. Yesterday when we had arrived, it had been sunny with a hint of chill, but I was betting the mornings are pretty cold. Hey, Mom says to stop fooling around and get your butt downstairs. I nearly jumped out of my skin when he just walked into my room. In response, I snatched a stray sock and threw it his way. I'm getting dressed, you creep. Then shut the door. Fine. Damn, son. What do they call those bathrooms? Jack and Jill bathrooms, I think. I marched across the room and slammed the door in Spencer's face. I threw my clothes on and wrinkled my curly hair into some semblance of a ponytail. Not exactly the height of slight stylishness, but we still had unpacking to do. Mom could be a slave driver. Function over fashion, or whatever. I got downstairs in time to see Mom setting out the plates. First breakfast in the new house. Wow, you really went all out. Bacon, eggs, and even pancakes, and glorious, glorious coffee. I'm not a huge fan of coffee. I'm more of like a juice soda person. I'm trying to lay off the soda though, so I've been drinking more water because I'm sick. Gotta stay hydrated with it. Delicious water. I was about to sit when she yanked my breakfast away ruthlessly. What? She pointed to several garbage bags and a box by the door. Uh-oh. You said to take them out last night and didn't. The bags go to the bins out front and the boxes go to the tool shed out back. Both of them. Before breakfast. Mom! I'm hungry! I crave sustenance. I made sad whining noises and pawed at her for my plate. She wasn't buying it. Spencer swung by the table and took my plate out of her hand, snatching a slice of bacon off of it and shoving it in his mouth. You asshole. Thanks, Mom. Looks delicious. Hey, that's mine. He sidled past me, holding the plate just out of reach. It's plenty of food. Take the trash out and then you can eat. You're so mean. All of you. It was useless to argue. I already knew that. I sighed and trudged to the door, fumbling with a pair of flip-flops there before picking my poison and heading out. Let's take the box to the ball. What happened to my voice right there? Take the box to the backyard, cause Let's see that fairy ring again. I hope you know that this this is cruel and unusual punishment. It's not punishment, just fulfilling obligations. Cruel. I barely got the last word in before the door slammed shut. She was big about obligations and responsibilities, but it wasn't too bad a guess. That was way worse. I rang on the box back to the tool shed at the far corner of our overgrown backyard. What's even in this thing? It must have been tools and stuff since it was heading to the shed. Why don't you seriously just get rid of them anyway? Dad was a menace with anything sharp or connected to a power source. He was a businessman to the core, but a handyman, not so much. Disaster always ensued the moment he got his hands on tools. I waded through the weeds to the tool shed, noting that all the flower beds were full of wilted bulbs. It needed some major cleanup. I glanced at the fairy ring when I passed it. New mushrooms had already propped up to replace the ones Spencer kicked over. It always impressed me how fast those things could grow. I smiled to myself as I walked to the shed. It was in the back corner of the backyard and bolted shut. I wondered if anyone had even tried to open it yet. If there are spiders in there, I would definitely scream. I set the box down and looked all around the bowl to check for creepy crawlies, especially those huge, intimidating orb weavers. The door slammed next door. I glanced over instinctively, but of course the privacy fence blocked my view. Regardless, it was impossible to avoid eavesdropping on what seemed to be two young guys talking. Did you have to drag me out of bed so early for this? I was up half the night. You're always up half the night. Come on, exercise is good for you, and you asked me to help you with this. I know. Two guys for sure. One had a deep, warm voice. The other just sounded half asleep. You guys have no idea how I'm so obsessed with every single guy in this visual novel. When I was reading about their information, I fell in love with every single one. Usually I'm like, with like some of them. But this one, in love with every single one. I don't know who to go after when I get this game. I really want this game. I'm not even like halfway into the demo, I don't think, and I'm already in love. I smiled as I finally slid the bowl over and shut the door open. Sounded like two high schoolers, maybe around my age. I quickly dropped the box to one side and stepped out of the shed before some girl's creepy crawly got on me. You know, with your skills, you should be great at this, so I'm not going to take it easy on you. Hey, careful! There's no way I'm a match for your crazy. Just catch. Ugh! Oh Jesus! I wasn't quite sure what had just happened. Why was there red flashing on my screen? I just stepped out of the shed and suddenly I was on the ground seeing stars and trying to figure out what had just bounced off my head. It had looked vaguely football shaped. Damn it, I knew it. But who the heck throws like that? Oh my god, are you okay? I blinked rapidly and looked around. Okay, now I'm hearing voices descend from the sky. I probably had brain damage. Up here. Oh right, someone was peering at me over the top of the wooden fence. Oh hello. Don't move, okay? I'm coming over. Lots of rustling and suspicious movements later, and a huge dark-haired guy swung over a tree branch and into my yard. Wow, maybe it was just the blurred vision, but he was quite good looking. Before I knew it, Mr. Tall, Dark, and Attractive was kneeling over with a worried look on his face. I thought they were gonna say handsome, but I guess that's too cliche. I am so sorry. I didn't realize anyone would be back here, and, well, my friend was supposed to catch that. He, missed. Are you okay? I felt hands on my face as the boy tried to brush my bangs aside and get a look at my forehead. Oh, that's so cute. I would instantly melt. My cheeks instantly heated up. Yep, me and her. Relatable right now. I made a feeble attempt to push his hands away as they grazed a painful bump for me. I'm fine, seriously. I mean, you have a really good arm, but the stars and little birdies are fading, so I think I'll be fine. He gave me a really sweet apologetic smile. That's definitely not how I planned to meet the new neighbors. Instead, it offered me a hand, which I took to pull myself up. It totally not because I wanted the thrill of holding his hand. No such thing. Well, there are worse ways to make an unforgettable first impression. Then again, given the size of the lump on my head, I may well forget this whole thing in a few minutes anyway. I'm kidding. He breathed an almost comical sigh of relief. short of driving my car into your house. What? I can't imagine how this could get much worse. I'm Danny, by the way. And are you really okay? Michiko, nice to meet you. And yes, I suspect the brain damage will be minimal. I'm really sorry. Hello? Everything okay over there? Oh, and I think I forgot his name. Another head popped over the fence. This one belonged to a pale purple-haired boy. Definitely the sleepyhead. Oh, hello there. This is my friend Elliot, though most people just call him Mozzie. He was supposed to catch that. I smirked up at the boy dangling over the fence. Good job. He returned the smirk with a silly grin. Hey, playing catch with the quarterback this morning was not my idea. I'm sorry though. You have a huge bump on your head. I touched my forehead and winced. Yeah, that might need some ice. With luck, it'll get me out of helping unpack the kitchen. They both laughed. Well, we try to be helpful. Next time, could you just pretend to bounce a ball off my head? I'm really sorry. So, not to interrupt, but I guess you'll be starting school around here soon. Yeah, on Monday. We're both seniors at Stone Circle Academy. You? Oh, cool. My brother and I are seniors, too. We'll be starting there on Monday. Nice. You and your brother are the same age? Twins. You lucked out, though. I'm the good one. Spencer is evil. What the hell, Michiko? You're supposed to be helping out, not flirting with the locals. Oh, yes. Great timing as always. Oh, crap. I am so past the time of recording. So, we're going to save it here. Guys, I am so hyped for this game. I don't know when it's coming out, but I cannot wait for it to come out because I am so in love. I'm already so in love with episode 1. I hope you guys are too. I'm sorry if it was hard to listen to me. I feel like my sick voice is very disgusting and I had to clear my throat every so often. And that probably sounds disgusting, but I'm getting over this cold. Trying to stay positive and tell my body, hey, you're okay. But I'm very excited for this visual novel. I don't know how long the demo is. I'm assuming it's going to be long enough for us to meet every single character. And we have only met 2 of the guys out of the 6. So we have 4 more to go. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Stay beautiful and I'll see you guys in the next one.